Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Today we have Netflix 315th film from 2021. It's the animated musical fantasy comedy called The Loud House Movie. This is directed by Dave Needham and stars the voices of Asher Bishop, Jill Talley, Brian Stepanek, Catherine Tabor, Liliana Mumy, Nika Futterman, Cristina Pucelli, Jessica DiCicco, Griffin, Lara Jill Miller, and Andrew Robinson. I'm Jesse, and I am your host. Thank you for joining me today for this Netflix original film. As we always start the show, if this is a film that you haven't seen yet and you are interested in checking it out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because I'm going to spoil the film as we go through this episode. And we do start the show with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one is about a very loud and large family who go on vacation to Scotland to chase their family heritage and own self-worth. There we go. This is a family-friendly film. This is a good one for kids, I would say, and families too. So let's get into how this one ended up on Netflix. The Loud House Movie, I guess I've got to put it out there that this is based on the Nickelodeon TV series, animated TV series of the same name called The Loud House. So that's where we're at. So this film is set in the franchise between the 4th and 5th seasons of the television show. So for those that don't know anything about the show or haven't seen the show, I try not to say things too early, but you can still enjoy this film without knowing anything about the show. So here we go. The tagline for this film: the Louds are about to rule, and this summer Scotland gets loud. There we go. So about the family called the Louds. Pretty straightforward. On Netflix, their little logline is: on a trip to Scotland, the spotlight's on loyal brother Lincoln Loud to save his unique family's royal legacy. There we go. And then when you click on the film, the further tagline or logline from Netflix is: with his parents and all 10 sisters in tow, Lincoln heads to Scotland and learns that royalty runs in the family in this global musical journey. There we go. Some nice little summaries there from Netflix. The working title for the film was just The Loud Movie, but obviously they've added in the word house to tie it more closely to the television show. Around the world, in Albanian, it's called The Haunted House, the movie. That makes sense because there is a castle that is a little bit haunted, but it's not the main plot of this film. In German and French, it's called Welcome to the Loud House, the movie, and I think that plays in with the theme song of the television show. In Czech, it's called The Announcer in the movie. There we go, interesting. In Finnish, it's That's How We Have It, the movie. Cool. Hungarian, it's called The Noisy Family, the movie. That makes sense. Norwegian, The Boulder House, the movie. In Serbian, it's House of Noise, the movie. Good, all plays on the idea of noise. In Korean, it's Surviving Lincoln's House, the movie. There we go. And finally, in Vietnamese, it's The Lively House movie version. So all plays on the idea of this family being very loud and over the top. We go back to March 28th, 2017, where Paramount Pictures president Mark Evans announced a film based on this series, originally set for a theatrical release on February the 7th, 2020. However, in January of 2019, Paramount removed the film from their schedule. We then flash forward to February of 2019, where it was announced that the film would instead be produced for release on Netflix. So that's when Netflix came on board. Paramount's president Mark Evans announced during the San Diego Comic-Con that the studio will work closely with Viacom's TV brands, most notably Nickelodeon, which includes this movie. And I think in the next coming years, we'll see a couple. I think there's like Invader Zim. I'm not sure about that one. Rocko's Modern Life. There's a few Netflix films that they did with Nickelodeon as well. When the film was announced at Comic-Con in 2017, series creator Chris Savino stated that the film would be non-canon to the show. Dave Needham later contradicted Savino's claim, stating that it is canon since Lily is still in her diaper. Lily is the baby of the family. In a later interview on the Nerd Social Club podcast, Needham stated that the film takes place during the summer, somewhere between Coop Dreams and Schooled episodes. So I think that's where we get the information from before. It's between the 4th and 5th season. Savino had no involvement on the film after being fired from the show due to sexual harassment allegations in October of 2017. In January of 2021, it was announced that the film would be part of Netflix's 2021 film lineup. The film's cast and crew were revealed in April of 2021, confirming the entire main cast reprising their roles for the show. Unlike the series, the Loud House movie was animated in Flash animation with Toon Boom Harmony, produced by Top Draw Animation, an animation studio based in Manila in the Philippines. Jam-Filled Entertainment, the series' original animation service provider, was not available to produce the animation for the film due to being fully booked with projects outside of the Loud House, which included the television show Thomas and Friends. If you're a parent, you've probably seen that show on TV. Animators at Top Draw used reference images from the show to accurately animate the characters. The songs for the film, this is a musical, there are songs throughout. The songs for the film were performed by Oh Hush, Grayson DeWolf, Tide Lines, and Distant Cousins. We then go to April of 2024, where Nickelodeon announced that a sequel to the film, titled No Time to Spy, a Loud House movie, was scheduled to premiere in the summer of 2024 on both Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon in the USA and internationally. A first teaser trailer was posted on the network's social media and attached to the series episodes on Paramount Plus. The movie's poster was also unveiled. On May the 10th, Nickelodeon announced that the movie would be released on June 21. A Loud House Christmas movie called Naughty or Nice was also released this year in November of 2025. There we go. Interesting. So Netflix is the only Loud House thing on Netflix. Nickelodeon and obviously Paramount Plus didn't exist when this came out. So there we go. This was released on Netflix worldwide on the 20th of August, 2021. And it was nominated at the 12th Hollywood Music in Media Awards for Original Song in an Animated Film. It was also nominated at the GLAAD, or the GLAAD Media Awards, for Outstanding Kids and Family Programming. So some nice reception there. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? On Rotten Tomatoes, there's no critics that have put anything on there for the film, but the audience has it at 60%. That's on more than 100 ratings, and IMDb is exactly the same. Sits at a 6 out of 10 on nearly 3,500 ratings. Letterboxd is a little bit lower. It's a 2.5 out of 5 on a bit over 9,000 ratings, but has been logged by 14,000 people. There is nothing on Metacritic for this film. So there we go. That leads into my early thoughts. What did I think about this film? I'd heard of the television show The Loud House before, but I'd never seen an episode or know anything about any of the characters. And to start off with, I thought I was going to be overwhelmed with trying to understand all these characters. There are so many characters in the movie and in this family, obviously in the television show, but they do a really good job of focusing on Lincoln, the boy in the family, and the 10 girls, and there's only little side references to what each of their traits are, and this makes it engaging and easy to follow. So I'm a fan of this one. I enjoyed this. I thought this was a good film. All right, let's talk about the characters in this film. We've got to start off with Lincoln. Lincoln is the brother to these sisters. He's a great brother who's organised and supports all 10 of them. He feels like in this film, though, that he's underappreciated and not special. And I guess this is a very important thing for kids to come to terms with. He doesn't have any medals or trophies like his sister, and he thinks that maybe there's a boy trait somewhere in the family that will lead him to success or being special in his own way, and that's why he gets his family to look into his dad's heritage, and this is how they end up on this adventure to Scotland, where he thinks he could be Duke of this big, of this town and of this big mansion and castle, and this would solve all of his insecurities. So this is where we're at for this film. When they arrive, the family arrive in Scotland. This is where we meet, I guess, two of our more of the developed characters in this story. They're not characters from the television show, I believe, but they play a big role in this film. And the first one is the groundskeeper of the Loud House mansion, and this is his name's Angus. He's very welcoming. He's very accepting. He loves that the family's there. He doesn't care about the noise. He just wants. He's so happy to have them there, and he has all the traits and abilities of a leader, which I'm not going to spoil too much. Is a good trait to have. He's also voiced by David Tennant, which is a good little reference I'll come back to later on. The other person in this town, the Loud House town, is Morag, and I guess she's the villain of the film. Her family have cared for this mansion for generations and looked after the Loud families. However, she's enjoyed the peace and quiet of the castle without anyone being there. So when this loud family rocks up, she's not very happy. And that leads her to dig up a diary, which her ancestors had used at some stage to scare the loud family off. And she's intent on doing this again to get her peace and quiet. The sisters of Lincoln, I'll see if I got them all. I think there was Laurie, Lenny, Luna, Luan, Lynn, Lucy, Lola, Lana, Lily, and Lisa. I think as I was watching the film, I think I got all the names down. So the ones that get a little bit of a story in this film, apart from whether they're good at athletics or driving cars or whatever it is. So Lucy's like the emo girl, I guess, is the gothic girl. She's the lover of death and wears black clothes and sleeps in a coffin and likes bats. And she's probably the biggest storyline as she connects with the ghost loud family counterpart in the castle named Lucille, and she helps uncover some of the history of the castle and the family. Lenny's one of the other sisters who meets a boy called Scott. They're in Scotland, so that's funny because he's a Scot, and she spends some time with him. And then Lily the baby probably gets the second best screen time, as she's so close to Lincoln, probably due to her inability to speak as she's a baby, but helps him do some magic tricks and helps that idea too that not everything's about tricks, it's more about actions. Clyde is the best friend of Lincoln, who's a talented baker. He likes to do pastries and cakes and things like that. He gets left behind at home in America, and that's probably a little bit of a connection that Lincoln has and misses once they do go to Scotland. The director of this film, Dave Needham, this is his feature debut. He did go on to direct Plankton, the movie for the SpongeBob SquarePants franchise in 2025, so has obviously been trusted with Nickelodeon work, as well as working in the art department of a variety of films like Boss Baby, the Lego Batman movie, Penguins of Madagascar, so has a big name in the animation world, I would say. Let's talk about some scenes. What are some scenes that worked? What didn't work in this film? The scenes that worked. The first big song from Lincoln while he's sitting outside the restaurant in America, while everyone in that restaurant is so impressed with his sisters and their achievements. And the lyrics, like, I would probably have it easy if I was an only kid, and wanting to feel special. It really set the mood, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I liked most of the songs in this film. The town sings a song on the family's arrival. I enjoyed that too. When the family arrived to the castle and they meet Morag, who's the keeper of the house, and Lola, the sister, tells Morag to take her bag when they arrive. I had a good laugh at that. Lincoln's song going into town to be a duke and make everyone know his name so that he can be special. I enjoyed that too. And this is right at the end, but Laurie's boyfriend from America travels all the way to Scotland and gets there in a submarine just as they leave, and he does his big scream. I thought that was quite funny too. There was a link throughout the film. What didn't I like? At the start, the whole experiment, swinging the dad in a machine and a water tank and a tickle machine just to get his DNA from spit was a little bit lame. Maybe that's something that kids would enjoy more. I don't know, just a cool animation, but over the top. Lincoln duking, so he's pretending he wants to be this duke. He's duking down the stairs, and the kids in the family reference poo to this. I just didn't think that was funny. And Morag's villain song of, I think, wanting to be Duchess, it was a little bit tame. You think about villains in animated films like Scar in The Lion King or Jafar in Aladdin, Gaston's songs in Beauty and the Beast, they all stand out. But I thought, I know this is not necessarily a Disney film, but I just thought a song from her could have been bigger and bolder. What's the film trying to say? What are some themes? What are some ideas? What are some motifs? Belonging, teamwork, doing the right thing, that all plays throughout the film, as well as helping others. And helping others is a more important thing to do than having own individual power or being famous. And this leads to the idea too of what it means to be a leader. Obviously, this is about the Loud House family and family exclusion at times, or feeling trapped or neglected under siblings, especially the shadows of sisters, and the difficulties of being a part of a big family is definitely in this film. But that idea too that you've got to appreciate yourself for who you are and what makes you special. And you might need to find a little bit of your own identity to feel comfortable with that too. Also, not being too trustful or allowing people to trick you to get what you want. I thought that played through Morag and Lincoln's magic tricks too. What else did I take away from the film? I think it's a bright, bubbly film that has such a great runtime. It's super short. I think it's perfect for all ages. I don't think there's much more you could ask for good, wholesome family entertainment. Yes, there's a few darker scenes with dragons that might scare some younger children, but I think this is a great film. We have a moment on the show where sometimes we jump on IMDb to check the cast out. As I was doing the show notes for this, I sort of noticed that Morag, the villain, she was voiced by Michelle Gomez, who plays Missy in Doctor Who. And then I mentioned before too, David Tennant as Angus, who's Doctor Who himself. So whoever did some casting, obviously is a little bit of a fan of Doctor Who. So that's a nice little reference there. I mean, this is a good introduction to the show. I think some questions, some pondering, some thoughts, some ideas. It's a good introduction to the show. I think that, as I said before, I knew nothing about this family. I knew nothing about the show, but I'm intrigued to see where the television show would go, how in depth they'd go into each of the sisters and the arcs in the show. I mean, you've got 10 siblings that you could spend so much time on getting to know and their traits and their personalities and the dynamics in this big family. So, I mean, I'm probably interested in checking out the other two films or TV shows. So that's an interesting sort of little take as well. But I think I should wrap this up. We give the films a rating out of 5 on this show. For me, I'm probably not dedicated enough to watch all of the seasons of the show, but I think I would watch the specials and the films and maybe a couple of episodes here and there if it's on Paramount Plus in the background or something like that. Or I might even try and introduce my kids in a couple of years' time, because through this film, I thought this was a really well put together, good family show that shows good value. So I hope that the television shows like that too. I had a blast with this. I think it was just a good old-fashioned family film. I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5, which is probably a little bit high, but I really enjoyed this. We're on socials. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have X, formerly known as Twitter. Give us a follow if you can. Give us a like. The question for this episode that I wanted to put out was the idea about breakfast burritos. This is something that Lincoln and his little sibling Lily, they love breakfast burritos, and I think the whole family do realistically. But the question, the idea is, do you like breakfast burritos? I feel like I don't have them enough. What a good thought that, you've got a wrap with some bacon, some eggs, some sauce. Yum. Making me hungry think about it right now. Other than that, we are back next week. Next week, we have an action thriller film from 2021. It's called Sweet Girl. Interesting. It's directed by Brian Andrew Mendoza and stars Jason Momoa, Isabel Merced, Manuel Garcia Rulfo, Adria Arjona, Raza Jaffrett, Justin Bartha, Lex Scott Davis, Michael Raymond James, and Amy Brenneman. There we go. A big action thriller with Jason Momoa. I will get there eventually. It is, I'm very tired. Anyway, we will be back for that one. Give it a watch if you want, or if you've seen it. Join me next week. Thanks for joining me today. Go check out The Loud House. I enjoyed it.